Arthur Putman, whistleblower from Florida. Due process. I came here 11 months ago, Washington, D.C. My first encounter with the Supreme Court. Due process. This came from a criminal case, which was a RICO charge, public storage, against the United States of America for committing a continual enterprise of deception and fraud against every patient or every patron that ever did business with public storage. I filed a judicial complaint against a federal judge named Judge Ursula Angora. She had committed judicial misconduct in the form of a criminal while on the bench for money. Public storage bartered the RICO charge down to a class action suit with a whole lot of millions to buy their way from the criminal 18 USC spectrum, which give you 30 years to life for the type of fraud that they committed. Anyway, I cornered the government and public storage. So the clerk of the courts and the two chief judges of the 11th Circuit intervened, committing misconduct as well. Because when I filed my complaint against a federal judge, the judicial panel reviewed my complaint and agreed with me that the judge had committed misconduct on the scale of criminal. She needs to be sanctioned, and sanctioned to the fullest extent of the Constitution, which calls for her to be disbarred and prosecuted. That's the only way you can exit a federal judge. That's a lifetime appointment, which is entirely too much power. The judicial panel or the judicial conference, all 8 judges reviewed my complaint and affirmed my complaint against the federal judge, Ursula Angora. As soon as they affirmed my complaint, the 2 crooked chief judges of the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, Judge Pryor and his counterpart, Judge Kearns, and his wife as well. Yeah, on a 3-judge panel, I draw both of the chief judges and one of the chief judge's wife. Imagine that. Listen, I can't be discredited. The Constitution told me that once the government attempt to suppress, stifle your due process, the stronger the Fifth Amendment wraps its arm around you and guarantee you due process. Back here again, part two. This started off with the state of Florida. The Medicaid Integrity Unit, 7 HIPAA violations against my healthcare provider, Sunshine Health. They signed an unbelievable multi-billion-dollar contract and the company was a fraud in the first place. They wasn't nothing but about 24 PCPs with not one specialty doctor in their whole network. Listen, ex-Governor Rick Scott, which is presently Senator Rick Scott from the great state of Florida, thief, super thief. He got a whole host of casts because up here in Washington where I'm at right now, I'm up here by the Georgetown Library, waiting on it to open, so I can go in there and finish writing 2 other procedural violations from Judge Rudolph Mouse up here at the Brett Pettyman Federal Courthouse on Washington, downtown Washington. He have got so desperate and so petty that he attempted to shut me up by intimidating me, a 65-year-old Native American, Indian, with disabilities. The American with Disability Act of 1990 guaranteed that no corporation in America is, or the government is a corporation, cannot discriminate against me for no reason. So with that, I filed a First Amendment and a Fifth Amendment crisis because of an illegal order which was handed down by a magistrate and 2 Superior Court judges have enforced it, barring me from the whole Capitol Hill because I'm calling out my public officials as thieves and super thieves. I had a massive stroke July the 17th of 2014, induced by the government. When I had the stroke, you know what happened? My healthcare provider, case management, all the way up to the senior vice president of RN Medical, Ms. Sophia Laminari, closed my file after a massive stroke. Broward General Hospital, North Broward, on sample. It's the 64-page narrative of that episode. From a wheelchair to walking up here in Washington, D.C. Due process, I will not be denied. One percenters, Senate Judiciary, ex-chairman Charles Grassley, incoming Senator Rick Scott from the great state of Florida, resign or be prosecuted. You're not above the Constitution. I don't care how much you done stole for them. You're not above the Constitution. I've been up here for 11 months now, sleeping outside, freezing. I go to a hypothermic shelter like I did last night. Listen, man, I had enough of you. You ain't even a good thief no more. They see they don't know the connection with Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, and their human body trafficking parlor in South Florida. It's simple. I see they just made a connection with the parlor owner, Senator Rick Scott, and now Governor Mr. DeSantis. Listen, y'all been fleeced and fleeced and fleeced again. Washington ain't nothing but a fraud. It ain't nothing but optics. Congressman L.C. Hastings from the great state of Florida, I guess you must be minority whip now. Since you was minority whip, you must be the major whip. Listen, resign or be prosecuted. I brought these issues to you 4 years ago about the 3 Social Security numbers. Listen, ex-judge, disgraced, disbarred. Did you do some time? Y'all fall down now. Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Your political career is dead. Coming for you now. I come to close. You and your staff, you took my documents and you sold them to Rick Scott to keep my documents suppressed. You are so illegal and greedy and dirty. You worse than the homeless people. They cleaner than y'all are. Listen, Washington need a whole remake over. All them thieves and super thieves need to go. Y'all need to go now or be prosecuted, especially the ones from Florida, because I came to you. Ex-Senator Bill Nelson, Joker. Yeah, Rick Scott bought you. When I first got up here on the Hill, I took my documents to you, your chief of staff, your general counsel. Listen, you a joker. You gonna be prosecuted anyway. Enough is enough, man. When a thief commit a crime, he must pay his time. The fraudulent contract I'm talking about, it expires July 1st of this year. That's how long Senator Rick Scott have spent millions upon millions to keep my documents, you understand, quiet. They ain't quiet because I'm not quiet. You thought I was finished when I had the stroke? Listen, man, y'all a bunch of demons. Y'all believe in that demonic nonsense. I believe in God. I was a soldier for the demon for 61 years until I had the stroke. He laughed at me, and God pushed me out of the wheelchair and said, fight. Every state like Florida, Department of Children and Family Services, those are the real human traffickers of the kids, the innocent ones. Pamela Bundy, coming for you. All of y'all fall down. You're not above the Constitution. I'm a Yankee. It's done brought me here. Now it's time for me to close. U.S. Police Chief, for the Capitol, resign or be prosecuted. Father Gurney, St. Joseph on Capitol Hill, same with you. Fake, spineless, detectable. And I was a Catholic for all of them years. From Latin, serving Mass, to Father Hoyer from my local church, you understand, St. Gregory the Great in Plantation, Florida. Money put me out of the church to cover up the fraud from the state of Florida. Ex-Chief Judge Gonzalez was a member, you understand, of the same church. Miss Witt was the director of Plantation Social Security Office, willing participant of the fraud, directly from the state of Florida. The 3 Social Security numbers was the basis for the unprecedented type of investigation that they inflicted upon me for insurance fraud and Medicaid fraud. resign or be prosecuted after you correct the record. All the years I worked, they got me living off of $771 a month because they say I don't have enough credits for my 100% disability and 100% Social Security. Listen, enough is enough. You can't even press me no more. Your press is soft and ineffective. T-Mobile, which is government owned and operated, if you got a satellite, it's not yours no more. God gave it to me. If you try to turn off your service, I'm going straight to the satellite and back up and running. Mr. John Williams, you personally killed 5 criminal investigations that was open for me, 3 in the United States and 2 in the Philippines, which you also got authority. Listen, you ain't no match for me. It's time for you to pay now. Surrender your errors in the mission policy, T-Mobile. Then ain't gonna be nothing compared to the pain and suffering. Constitutional challenges, civil rights violations, ADA of 1990, multiple violations. General Motors, OnStar, FedEx. I ain't forgot about y'all. Apple, this the part where all of y'all fall down. The 2 Jewish shyster attorneys in Hollywood, Florida, they got the grace from them Jews, you understand, to participate in this persecution. You ain't no match for that man. He gave me the power. I'm a bankrupt, y'all, from the First Amendment and the First Amendment alone because of that Fifth Amendment. Sunrise Police Department. Hey, I ain't forgot about you neither. Chief, remember I told you when you was a major and going into the chief? Arthur Putman. Commissioner Douglas, General Counsel, Kim Kissling, whatever her name is. Mr. Mayor, Narville Elementary School, Principal and Vice Principal, the School Resource Officer, you can't ban me from being a granddaddy. Me and Courtney Bradley got a pinky promise. That means I die before, you understand, I break that promise. I love you, Courtney. I love you, Charlena, her mother. My fight over with Arthur Putman, whistleblower from Florida. Due process. As you can see, you understand, this is Georgetown. That's the library, which opened up at 1 o'clock today. Yeah, this is the famous Georgetown. It's demonic, too. Really demonic. They don't believe in God nowhere up here. They like walking around dummies. All of them. Look at them. At least 95% work for the government anyway. Arthur Putman, due process. But the end is to come. I love you, God. Thank you for waking me up.